So because there's two different birthdays, I just put down the year that I suspect. So I put down 80. So somewhere in the decade of 1980 is what I put down. Because that's the whole reason you're here, man. I don't know which one is the factual one.
Imagine you go into a business and their AI surveillance camera thinks it recognizes you as a trespasser. So that business handcuffs you and calls the cops.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
How you doing?
You show them your real ID, but they don't believe it. Instead, they believe the AI. Crazy, right? Well, this actually happened.
This is right before we arrested him. We looked at it and said, that's him. And it came up.
100%.
So
Okay.
100% match.
Yeah. So the software's saying it's legit.
I've never been to jail. Never. I've never.
You won't be there long, and hopefully, once they've got it all figured out, then
This is what my tax dollars are paying for?
it's not built for comfort.
Dude.
It's not built for comfort, pal. Just gonna take your picture, and then we'll get you next door and get you out of those cuffs. All right. So just step on those red footprints. She's gonna snap a picture. While she's doing that, I'm gonna get a picture too. Just look up at the camera there.
This is yet another video showing the dangers of having our private data used against us, not just by the government, but by private corporations and AI. You have to stay on top of it 24/7 now. Fortunately, now we have software that fights back also 24/7. I recommend setting up an account with the sponsor of this video, Incogni. Incogni tracks down and removes your personal data from multiple sites, including online directories, people search sites, and even commercial databases. The process is fully automated, so 24/7, it will continuously remove your data from all of these places. As of today, Incogni has removed my personal information in 891 different places online. But I also use the custom removals feature available in the unlimited plan and the family unlimited plan to take down almost everything that's exposed about me online. So check out Incogni using the link below or go to incogni.com/civil to get an exclusive 60% off. That's incogni.com/civil and use code CIVIL or click the link below to take your personal data off the market. Now let's get back to this video. On September 16th, 2023, a guy named Jason Killinger finished his shift as a UPS worker. He went to bed, he woke up in the early evening, and he decided to enjoy a night of playing craps at local casinos. Jason arrived at the Peppermill on or about 11:30 p.m. on September 16th. He was a regular customer there. He had a Peppermill player's card in his name, and he estimates that prior to that night, he had gambled hundreds of times at the Peppermill Casino without any incidents. He liked the Peppermill, especially the friendly dealers, the low table minimums, and the food. On September 17th, 2023, Jason Killinger was surrounded by security guards, and he was handcuffed. He was told that he was some other person named M.E., and that he was under arrest for trespassing. Jason was shocked. He protested, telling the guards that he was not M.E. Jason Killinger is a large man, weighing 285 pounds. And for him, the handcuffs behind his back were extremely tight. It was extremely painful for him. It hurt his wrists, it hurt his shoulders. The Peppermill Casino telephoned the Reno Police Department to report that a man, M.E., a trespasser, had unlawfully returned to the casino. Officer Jager with the Reno Police Department arrives at the Peppermill Casino, now September 17th. The casino reported that their AI facial recognition software positively identified the man as M.E., a man they had barred from the casino months earlier for sleeping on the premises.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
How you doing?
Oh, thank God you're here.
But the Peppermill AI software was wrong. They had the wrong guy.
So what's going on?
So we got this suspicion alert, prior trespasser,
Okay.
and we made contact and arrested him, and he claimed that wasn't him. And
What does my
so
name
we're just
say
trying
on
to
the ID?
get you guys to make the final call if it's with him or not. Jaeger, right?
Yep.
Killinger was relieved to see Officer Jaeger, thinking that he would straighten out this misidentification and have him released. Jason asked Jaeger if he could please get him out of the cuffs.
Can you please get me out of these cuffs now? Please, there's an officer of the law here. He's got a taser and a gun and all kinds of shit. Will you please get me out of these cuffs for a minute?
But Jaeger ignored him.
What's your name, sir?
Jason James Killinger. So what's the issue, you guys? Did he have a different driver's license or a secondary one, or does he have more property than just this one?
Just those effects right there, and that's it.
Get me out of these cuffs.
1 second, pal.
Officer Jaeger's body cam shows Jaeger holding Jason's driver's license with the Real ID gold star in his hand. Peppermill Security told Jaeger that Jason Killinger was a match to M.E., a guy who had already been trespassed from the property, and that the match was based on their facial recognition software.
You know, that's what we went off right there.
Yeah, and this is one of those things, you guys have this fancy software that does all this stuff, so it's like...
Officer, what's your name?
1 second, man. How goes it?
What's up, buddy?
Oh boy. Okay. Alright, man. So this is who you are?
Yes. What, Miss Jagger is your first name or last name?
Last name.
All right, Mr. Jagger. Yes, that is who I am. I drive the semis for UPS. I am not Mike. I don't know nothing about Mike. I'm a craps player here. Look, there's my socks for
Okay.
UPS. Can you please, you got a gun here. Will you
So
please take me out of these cuffs? My shoulders are
No,
killing me.
you're gonna sit there for a minute, man. So, when he gave you this information, did you guys verify it against an ID, or how does that work?
So in that report there's an ID on there as well, and we can show you that one.
Okay. Yeah, if you could pull up that ID.
I'd bring that up. Bring up the previous report.
Hey, Mr. Jagger.
1 second, man.
Hang on.
Is that what you like to be called, Mr. Jagger? Do you have a first name you like to be called by?
Right at this door here.
Officer works
One second,
fine.
I'll send somebody else right there.
Officer Jagger.
1 second, man.
That's what you keep telling me.
Yep, you still keep bugging me.
I just need a break. My shoulders are killing me.
So that's the ID that he presented. All B.
Look at the nose.
Yeah. Huh.
Officer Jaeger stares at Jason's driver's license. Then Jaeger stared at the Peppermill's barring notice of this guy M.E. Then Jaeger stared at the Peppermill's copy of M.E.'s driver's license, saying, "That's really weird. This is super weird."
Weird. Very weird. Alright, let me snap a picture of that. I'll run both names.
Jason repeated his request, "I need a break. My shoulder's killing me." But Officer Jaeger didn't bother to even look at him.
Luke, can I please have a break, man? Come on.
That's really weird. That is super weird. Okay. Let me step out just so I get better reception.
Yeah. Lift him up and see how tall he is.
Yeah.
It's
on
because
this
that
one.
says he's 5'9",
5'9".
and that says 6'1".
Yeah.
But we put him up on our scale, and when we were looking at camera, it looked like he was 5'9", but they just stood him up to give him another pair of handcuffs, and he looked taller than me, so that would make him closer to 6'1".
235, 285. Yeah, that's super weird. I'm actually going to run him on the computer because that's kind of one of those ones where I'm like, well, how about that?
Yeah.
And the pictures are very, I mean, the nose.
So, right, and then we have our new system, our new facial recognition system, and that's what it's telling us. It's telling us that it's looking at it, and it's doing that. And then there was another one that came up when he was at our TRK, which is one of our better cameras.
Yeah.
And this is right before we arrested him. We looked at it and said, "That's him," and it came up
100%.
So it's
Okay.
100% match.
Yeah. So if the software's saying it, it's legit.
Right. And it's
So
pretty,
he-
it's pretty damn accurate.
So either he presented a fake identification the first time,
Right.
or he's presenting it now.
Right.
Officer Jaeger took the position that both Killinger and ME were the same person. It didn't even dawn on him, not for a millisecond, that Peppermill software was inaccurate. And Officer Jaeger ignored the obvious fact that Jason Killinger and ME were different in every way other than facial resemblance. Leaving Jason handcuffed inside the Peppermill security office, Officer Jaeger went outside the Peppermill to obtain better internet reception so that he could call the Reno Police Department for a records check on both Jason Killinger and ME.
Records, this is how can I help you?
Hey, it's Officer Jaeger. How are you, man?
Good. What's going on?
I have a precarious situation. I'm trying to positively identify somebody who may have or may be using a fake ID. So I've got 2 names, 2 Nevada driver's license numbers and all that.
ME's driver's license came back as legit, and it showed that ME had never been arrested before.
That guy comes back clear every way.
Officer Jaeger asked RPD to run a check on Killinger's driver's license,
So this is the one he presented today.
and Killinger's driver's license also came back as valid, showing that Jason Killinger had never been arrested before.
That is super weird. Do you see a resemblance in those?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
But yeah.
That's super weird. So I have a feeling these are both the same guy, but he has different IDs. That's
Really?
crazy.
Jaeger, in talking to RPD outside the casino, said, "That's super weird. Do you see a resemblance?" And Jaeger explained his hunch that ME and Jason Killinger are actually the same person.
Because their software here, they have this facial recognition software here at the Peppermill, and he came back as a 100% match for the character who was previously trespassed.
Yeah,
So this is definitely a weird one. So I have a feeling he's somehow making some fake identification or something, but I mean, if you're pulling them up, then they're legitimate.
Jaeger next telephoned his supervisor.
Hey, boss. I mean, the photos are different photos, but they look like the same exact guy. The only difference is one has a chin goatee. But definitely super weird.
My thought process is we're probably going to have to arrest him and do a bench check.
Now, WINS is the Western Identification Network. It utilizes high-speed computer systems which digitize, store, and compare fingerprint data and images using sophisticated algorithms to exact unique characteristics from fingerprints and compare them with the database. It can search through millions of fingerprints within seconds. It enables law enforcement to identify unknown individuals between different agencies and jurisdictions.
I'm just letting you know, so I double-checked, so all of these driver's licenses are both valid. So either he is who he says he is, and he's not actually ever actually trespassed, which I doubt because their software is pretty cool, and the fact that he's acting super suspicious. 2, I just have a feeling somehow maybe he's got a hookup with the DMV where he's got 2 different driver's licenses that are registered with the Department of Motor Vehicles with different names and dates of birth. So I guess I'll arrest him on that and then just list him as a John Doe and then have him booked in for a WINS check.
Jaeger's supervisor did not ask Jaeger whether he had requested, looked at, or considered whether Jason had any other forms of ID to establish his identity. Jaeger's supervisor accepted Jaeger's absurd and preposterous feelings and hunch that ME and Jason were the same person with a, quote, DMV hookup who manufactured false IDs for him just in case he was ever caught trespassing so that he could evade arrest.
Cool.
Yep, perfectly fine.
Easy peasy.
Sounds
Thank you,
good.
sir. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Alrighty, well, that solves that. Alrighty, we'll get you guys sign a complaint.
On Officer Jaeger's return to the security office, he told Jason, "So right now I can't identify you. It's weird because essentially it looks like you have 2 different names."
Essentially, it looks like you have 2 names. I don't know, man. So, I can't identify you. Unfortunately, that means that they can't cite you.
Wonderful.
So,
So
if
now what happens?
you can't be cited, then you are arrested. So,
I'm arrested?
yep, I'm
I'm
going to
jail?
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not a joker, man. So, you'll be arrested and you'll get fingerprinted up at the jail, and then they'll be able to discern your identity and what the mix-up is with this stuff.
But there was no mix-up. Jason consistently denied that he was anyone other than himself, other than the person he produced evidence to support that he was. That Jaeger refused to look at or consider Jason's evidence does not mean that there was a mix-up. It means it was far from clear that Jason was ME. And before an arrest took place, more investigation was required.
If in your statement, can you indicate the software or whatever, did you indicate that in there?
We usually don't, but you certainly can add that down the bottom.
If you don't mind, just kind of like, hey, we got a 100% match on our software indicating that this is this person, kind of detail whatever the software is. I'll be 100% honest, could legitimately be you have a doppelganger running around, but they are strikingly similar and weird enough. Their fancy AI technology that
Can't figure
reads
it out.
faces. No, it says it's a 100% match. My feeble human brain looking at two different driver's licenses.
Can you look at the signatures?
Signatures are different because they're different names. So,
Can you look at the endorsements?
they're different endorsements.
Let me ask you this.
Right,
What's it going to
it's
take
on,
to prove to you that that is not me?
Unfortunately, you gotta go to the jail, they'll run your fingerprints, and then that's the way to determine it, man.
Jason knew that as a feeder driver for UPS, he had unique endorsements on his ID, permitting him to haul double and triple trailers. Jaeger looked at both licenses and confirmed that Jason had those special endorsements, while ME did not have them. Yet Jaeger disregarded it. He didn't want to look at any facts that did not conform to his belief that ME and Jason were the same person. In Officer Jaeger's mind, there was no reason to confuse his belief with contradictory facts.
When they find out that it's not me, then what happens?
Then, once they find out it's not you, then that's something else. That's an issue you guys can bring up with them civilly if that's an issue. But at this point, our hands are tied because, a reasonable and prudent person would, based off the software, based off the pictures, based off of even your driver's license picture, make the reasonable conclusion that all three are the same person, just two different IDs with two different
Can you
names.
look at the back of the IDs? Because I have all the endorsements except for motorcycle and hazmat.
Okay.
Other than that, I got all the endorsements.
But that's the thing
Is his a CDL?
So that's the thing is either someone else is using your stuff or you're using somebody else's stuff, and unfortunately you look too much like the guy in that picture, so much so that the fancy computer that does all the face scanning of everybody who walks in this casino
Oh, I know.
makes the same determination that my feeble human brain does. So
ME does not have a commercial driver's license, and Jason does. ME has a Class C driver's license, while Jason has a Class A. The restrictions on both driver's licenses are different. ME has no endorsements, while Jason has multiple endorsements, permitting him to drive tankers, passengers, school buses, double and triple trailers. ME is 5 years older than Jason. ME has hazel eyes, while Jason has blue eyes. ME weighs 50 pounds less than Jason. Their signatures are different. Officer Jaeger at no time asked Jason what other forms of ID he might have on his person or in his vehicle. Officer Jaeger did not explore or investigate anything that Jason said.
turn around. There we go. Actually, you know what? Go ahead and stand up right next to this thing. What's the one on there?
The one on there, the one that we trespassed him under was 5'9".
And what am I here?
5'9".
You gotta be me. Alright, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, no, was that 5'9" or that?
Probably take his shoes off.
Yeah, it's closer to that than the 6. All right. Yeah, go ahead and separate your feet for me.
I can't believe I'm going through this. All I want to do is play some goddamn dice and make some money.
Officer Jaeger removed the Peppermill handcuffs and he put on his RPD handcuffs. Jason again mentions the pain of the handcuffs.
Can I have a little bit of a while you got them off, please?
Unfortunately,
No.
you're not. No,
Policy.
it sure is.
Then Jason remembered he had a check stub from his employer in his vehicle.
If I got a check stub from my work,
Check stub.
yeah, would that prove it to you guys?
Jaeger disregarded that too. Nope, he wouldn't consider it.
Honestly, man,
No.
the only way is gotta get your fingerprints out.
Now I get my money and all my when I get out of jail.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna give you a hard time, just so you know.
I appreciate it, man.
It's not me. I don't know what the
Yeah, it's one of those. Like I said, man. If it turns out that it's not you, then
Can they get me in and out, please?
you probably won't be there very long. You'll probably be.
And then do you?
So it was 9:21, right?
So how do I get back here?
How do you get back here?
You guys are gonna give me a ride back, aren't you? To get my car?
No.
That's for getting my car.
Sorry, pal.
I've never been to jail. Never. I've never.
You won't be there long, and hopefully, once they've got it all figured out, then
This is what my tax dollars are paying for?
it's not built for comfort.
Dude.
It's not built for comfort, pal. Very sorry.
Jason Killinger is placed inside Officer Jaeger's patrol car with his hands cuffed behind his back.
Alrighty.
Another RPD officer arrives.
Look at this guy.
Now he shows up, right?
Yeah.
After you did all the work.
What are you doing here, man?
Jaeger explained to the arriving officer,
Don't worry about
it's
it.
super weird.
You good? Yeah, I'm good. Super weird. Super weird.
Is that him?
It's the exact same guy.
Did he get a name change?
He says, I mean, the name and date of birth and all that stuff are different.
He swears up and down he doesn't know who Michael
But this
is.
and their software, you know how their software works, 100% match that he is this guy.
Jaeger told the officer this poor guy might legitimately be somebody else. I don't know. It's a freaking weird call.
Because this poor guy might be like legitimately somebody else, and someone else, I don't know. Like, it's a freaking weird call. Just trespassing, yeah. You're good back there, man? All buckled in? All right. Sorry. You've never been arrested before, right? Yeah. So unfortunately, in this situation, that's one of those things that would have possibly helped, because then it would have had like other identifiers of you on file. I'll be honest, I don't know what to think, because usually those systems are pretty good. Like,
Right.
we've used those systems in the past to catch homicide suspects.
Sure.
So like, they're fairly reliable. So if it comes back, you know, one angle on your face, it was 99%, and the other one was 100%.
Is that right?
Yeah, so it's
Wow.
like, it says that you're that guy.
Well, unless I've gone crazy, I'm pretty sure it's not me.
Yeah.
I just want out of these cuffs. My arm is killing me. That's all I want. I won't give you a hard time. I didn't give them a hard time.
No, I appreciate it. Honestly, once we get you up there, if it turns out that you are Killinger, right? I don't know how to say his
Yes,
name.
that's right.
If that's who you are, and you're not this person that was trespassed, then you could just be like, yeah, this is a weird thing. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to give you legal advice, but
Oh, I already know what I'm going to do legally.
but
Charles 159.
that could be your
Charles 114.
thing to talk to them about.
Can we jump on the freeway so we can get there quicker?
Absolutely, that's my
Okay,
plan.
thank you. I asked them guys back there for a break in the handcuffs, you know.
Unfortunately, I can't.
No, I know, but that young kid in there, I'm sorry, sir, we cannot do that like a robot, you know. And I'm like, dude, I looked at him, I told him, I said, listen, I'm just asking you to think for yourself. Like, you gave me a break in them once. I didn't make any aggressive moves towards you guys. Like, you know, I'm pissed. I'm not happy I'm in the situation I'm in, so I'm not going to be nice to you, but I'm not going to make this any worse, you know. And they let me have a break in them, but then after that, I had to use the bathroom excuse, you know, just to get a break out of the cuffs. My shoulders hurt. That's the problem. Dude, my shoulder is killing me.
21, Union 35.
Oh boy.
Dude, if it was me, I would tell you it's me. It's not me. God damn it. You know why I don't with you?
Why?
Well, because I don't like to lose. And I know that it's already a lost fight before it ever gets started. You know what I mean?
Well, it's one of those ones, man.
I can't f***ing stand these goddamn cuffs, and I know you guys got shackles and all kinds of shit. And I sure as don't want to be in those.
Well, I don't know if you caught it, but as we were leaving, our partners were over at the Reno Public Market, and there was a gentleman there that was getting out of control, and they had to put him in what we call a wrap.
Yeah?
And it's like a seated straitjacket.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So.
Well, I don't want to be in that.
Yeah.
This is bad enough. God damn it!
Jason was taken to jail at the Washoe County Detention Facility.
Alrighty.
Can they take the goddamn cuffs off when I'm in the holding room?
Unfortunately, they won't. But we should be, if all goes well, you should be out of those cuffs in the next, hopefully, 8 to 10 minutes.
How tall are you? I don't know, officer. How tall am I?
I'll let you answer that one.
5'9", 6'1", I don't know, 5'9", I guess.
Any medical conditions?
I got a bad attitude. Does that count? Nope. Okay, then no.
Okay. Any mental health conditions?
Yeah, after this, yeah.
How goes it?
How you doing?
Another day, another
Ask
dollar.
me how I'm doing. He doesn't care how I'm doing.
When you get into this door, that's when you'll get the cuffs off.
Oh, thank God. Well, let's get there.
Nothing in there?
Me in by myself?
Yep, you're literally for like 2 to 3 minutes just for them to review the paperwork.
You know, you're not f***ing lying to me, are you? Because I haven't given you no
Nope, Scout's honor.
promise.
Yep,
2 to 3 minutes.
2 to 3 minutes.
I have to stay cuffed?
Yep. Eye color blue. Oh man.
You don't have to put a social, but I do need a date of birth, just like a guess. At least like a guess on the year. You can literally put like
So we have-
January 1st of how old you think he is.
We have 2 different dates of birth is the issue. So,
You can just put one, and then when we find out who he is, we'll change it. So.
okay. There we go. That's
Thank you.
something. Huh? I know. She's got to review the paperwork. So because there's 2 different birthdays, I just put down the year that I suspect. So I put down 80. So somewhere in the decade of 1980 is what I put down. Because that's the whole reason we're here, man. I don't know which one is the factual one. So just gonna take your picture, and then we'll get you next door and get you out of those cuffs. All right. So just step on those red footprints. She's gonna snap a picture. While she's doing that, I'm gonna get a picture too. Just look up at the camera there.
All because some asshole that looks like me was sleeping in the casino. It's not me.
Hi. Should I go over there since you need space for the wrap?
Yes, please.
Yeah. See, that's that wrap thing I was
I
talking
don't want nothing to do with that. I just want these
Yeah.
cuffs off.
Yeah.
Hey, Edgar. Hi, buddy.
How goes it? This all his stuff. The problem comes back is that we don't know who he is. So he's listed as a John Doe. This is one ID. This is the ID he presented. But this is the ID he was trespassed under at Peppermill. And the fact remains that both pictures look exactly the same, just different name.
Yeah, looks legit.
So, and both come back as valid driver's licenses, and their software, their like AI software that they run, the facial recognition stuff, 100% match for the guy on this one, but then he presents that one. Hi.
How old are you?
Well, I'm a bad boy. I'm in trouble. So
No, how old
maybe
are
like
you?
4 or 5. I'm 40.
While Jason Killinger remained at the jail, the fingerprint analysis conclusively established that he was in fact Jason Killinger, that he was not ME or anyone else. While at the jail, Killinger's name on his arrest papers was changed from John Doe to Jason Killinger. So now Jason Killinger would be prosecuted for trespassing as Jason Killinger, not as John Doe.
It's like one of those ones where it's like it might be a legit doppelganger situation.
Until this incident, Jason Killinger had never been arrested for anything and had never previously been suspected of any criminal activity.
Best of luck, man.
That's weird.
It's super weird. So it's one of those ones like I genuinely, like I kind of believe him,
Yeah.
but it's one of those ones like their software, they're like, no, like every picture they got was like a 98,
Yeah.
and then like the other ones were all 100%. Like one angle was 98, and then the front on face was 100% match for the guy they've trespassed, and both pictures look exactly the same guy. So
I love the Peppermill Atlanta security. They have like all these old retired FBI guys.
He legit has 2 IDs.
However, based on Officer Jager's fabricated arrest records, Jason Killinger's prosecution would continue.
I just realized for the eye color, I just put one. Which one would you rather put, blue or green?
Hazel,
Okay.
I guess. I mean, Hazel's more closer to a mixture of blue. Like I couldn't tell.
Perfect.
I wasn't gazing that deep into his eyes.
On September 18th, 2023, the Reno Municipal Court opened its register of actions. Since Jason Killinger had been positively ID'd as Jason Killinger and not John Doe and not M.E., he was charged as Jason Killinger with trespassing. But no one by the name of Jason Killinger had ever been trespassed from anywhere at all at any time, certainly not at the Peppermill Casino. The Reno Municipal Court and the Reno prosecutors, still, they went forward prosecuting Jason Killinger, not prosecuting M.E. and not prosecuting John Doe. So Jason retained an attorney and he paid him approximately $1,800 to represent him. A bench trial was set with the Reno prosecutors all set to argue for Jason Killinger's conviction. On November 9th, 2023, the bench trial was called before the Honorable Justin Champagne of the Reno Municipal Court. Even though there was zero evidence that anyone named Jason Killinger had ever been trespassed at the Peppermill, and zero evidence that Jason Killinger had ever presented himself as anyone other than himself, a prosecutor for the city of Reno was still unwilling to dismiss the case, indicating that the RPD fraud unit was still looking into it, and he wanted to retain the ability to recharge Jason Killinger within the year. So after discussions with the judge, the case was dismissed without prejudice, meaning that it could come back potentially. It could be recharged. The judge indicated that the city would have 1 year to bring additional charges or reopen the case. So what is the law on this? There was no arrest warrant, clearly, for this individual, Jason Killinger, or even the suspect they thought he was. So this is a warrantless arrest. Probable cause is required for warrantless arrest. Did they have probable cause to believe that Jason was this individual who was allegedly trespassing and therefore committing some crime at this casino? Here's the thing, both M.E. and Jason had, quote, real IDs, which means that both Jason and M.E. had to have personally gone to a Nevada DMV with their individual social security cards, birth certificates, or passports, in addition to 2 other forms of proof of residence. While at the Peppermill, Killinger had in his pocket a Nevada Real ID driver's license identifying him properly as Jason Killinger, a Peppermill player's card identifying him as Jason Killinger, and a debit card from his credit union identifying him as Jason Killinger. Killinger also had in his vehicle parked in the Peppermill parking lot a vehicle registration identifying him as Jason Killinger, a vehicle insurance card identifying him as Jason Killinger, a pay stub from his employer, UPS, identifying him as Jason Killinger, a DOT medical card identifying him as Jason Killinger, a Teamsters union card identifying him, and numerous player cards from various Reno casinos, all identifying him as Jason Killinger. Yet Officer Jaeger refused to consider any of this even after being assured that neither ME nor Jason had criminal records, and both did have valid driver's licenses. The fact is that it's not reasonable to rely on solely facial recognition software. Jason was taken to jail not because he had trespassed, but only because Officer Jaeger believed that he was ME who had been trespassed. Officer Jaeger unreasonably relied solely on the inaccurate Peppermill facial recognition software, wildly known to be inaccurate by police departments across the country and not used for criminal investigations without other proof of identity. Facial recognition software has led to many wrongful arrests. The Peppermill's facial recognition software did not account for the fact that Jason weighed 50 pounds more than ME, had different endorsements on his driver's license, different descriptions, different signatures, different numbers, and represented different classification of drivers, all of which should have been a glaring red flag for Officer Jaeger that there was substantial evidence that Jason was not ME, and that more investigation was required before an arrest. But this case is even more serious than just mistakenly relying on AI software that ended up being incorrect. Here, Officer Jaeger deliberately chose not to examine information with which he was presented that proved that Jason Killinger was actually Jason Killinger and not a different person. Then Officer Jaeger deliberately presented false information to prosecutors and the court, claiming that there was some evidence other than this AI software that he was a different person, and omitting that there was information that proved otherwise. That there was a ton of evidence actually that Jason and ME were actually two different people. These actions had the real world consequences of incarcerating and prosecuting a completely innocent man. As far as I know, they have thus far failed to hold themselves accountable in any way, not surprisingly, but a lawsuit has been filed. It's still pending. I'll post copies of the lawsuit at the blog post linked in the description below so you can check those out for yourself. I'll continue to follow this one so you can follow along by subscribing both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. You can follow me on X at JohnBryanESQ. Remember, our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.